2023 is over. So what buses on Croydon Roblox have we got in this year that I would highly recommend that you buy to drive? I'm going to look through cheap buses, underrated buses, and then finally the very best buses that were released in 2023. Make sure to keep on watching until the end to see all of my recommendations. Let's start with some cheaper buses that you should definitely consider buying if you are a new player to Croydon Roblox. You start with about 1700 points. This should give you the option to buy quite a few buses, so let's look at the best. First of all, the Metro City. It's a great and unique pick for your very first bus. It doesn't look like any of the other buses in the game, with its unique bump at the top to display the destination. On the other hand, this bus can look quite basic and perhaps a little bit plastic, as it's not been meshed yet. It gets a 6 out of 10. Next, the Solo SR is another cheap but mighty bus. One of the most interesting Optar buses from the Go Away depot, I'd say. I personally like the Solo SR, but it's done very well in Croydon Roblox. However, the price reflects the quality, and it's a nice small bus that you can start the game with. Personally, I prefer the other Solo, but I can't find it in the game. Therefore, a 7 out of 10 for the SR. My final pick for cheap buses is the ALX 400. It's a great starter if you want to drive a double-decker bus, and it is also quite cheap. I really like the driver's cab, but the rest of this bus can lack a little bit of detail, and it doesn't look great to me personally. Due to this, the ALX 400 gets a 5 out of 10. Let's look at some single-decker buses. I have done a video on these before, but this time, let's look at some of the more underrated single-decker buses. Some people do like the Enviro 200, and I do agree that it's a really nice bus. It's very original, but for that reason, fewer people drive it. So maybe it's the pick for you. As long as you don't buy the Stagecoach version, it's a 7 out of 10 from me. The next underrated single-decker bus is the Fusion. I would describe this as underrated because it wouldn't be a bus that you would save your money for particularly. However, as a bendy bus, it adds a little bit more excitement to your game. For that reason, I rate this bus a 9 out of 10. As long as you can control it, that is. It's a great bus. Now, a question for you. Would you describe the Cadet as underrated or perfectly rated? Well, I would say it's slightly underrated. As a cheap bus, especially in companies, it's a great bus and it does the job. Maybe it's not the most stylish, but it is nice. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's time for some double-decker buses that should really be used more often. First up is the Omnicity. I feel like this bus is severely underrated. It stands out from the crowd with its black and red colours. It also has a unique shape, and it's quite cheap to buy from the Croydon garage. I give this bus a rating of 8 out of 10. I have a fun bus for you next, the Prime Minister. It's a weird mix between the President and the MB4L, or the new Routemaster. Is it bad that I kind of like this bus? It offers something that no other bus does, which is a collaboration between buses. I feel maybe it's a little cursed, but at the same time works quite well. It's an 8 out of 10 for the Prime Minister. By the way, to get this bus you'll need to buy the new Routemaster first and then select Prime Minister. I feel like people have something against the street deck though. Yes, sometimes the lights don't work very well on the interior, or the interior itself isn't great. But the cab looks cool, and the front is a nice shape that you don't see very often on buses. The street deck gets a rating from me of 6 out of 10. And our 10th bus on the list, the President. This bus also looks great and had to fight off a couple of other buses to earn its place on this list. I don't see any reason not to buy this iconic bus. The front looks interesting and I like the interior as well. Maybe it's a bit underrated, 7 out of 10 for the President. We're about to get into the top half of buses in Croydon Roblox on this list. But before we do, I feel like I have to look at some of the Christmas Pass buses. Massive thanks to Trixbus and Fishy for providing the recordings of the following buses, because I don't think the Christmas Pass is worth it. The Day 9 Christmas bus was the Electroliner. I really like both of the Christmas buses that I'm going to look at in this video. Having the buses meshed really helped with the realism of the game. Both the interior and exterior look amazing, and having the different display boards also really helps the look. If it weren't a Game Pass bus, it would be a 10 out of 10, but for now, it deserves a 7. Now looking at the Day 23 release, the Enviro 200 EV. There is just something about this bus that just looks amazing. I think everything combined looks great. My favourite part is the fact that the screen inside actually matches the route that you're on. I think it deserves to be the same as its partner, a 7 out of 10 for now. But when they finally release a version 1.4, there's a good chance they'll both be 10 out of 10s. It's now time for my top picks for buses that I would highly recommend that you buy in Croydon Roblox. Let's count down from 12 all the way to the very top pick. Believe me, it gets quite close in points towards the top. In 12th, the Enviro 400 EV. Okay, I heard you, stop shouting at your screen. Yes, it's in 12th place. I do really love the future spec, but this version I feel is a bit of a rip-off. Don't get me wrong, it's a really great bus and it looks good. It's quite high up as well, 6 out of 10. 11th and 10th place is the Enviro 400 MMC and the Enviro 200 MMC. They are a lovely couple together. To be clear, I'm talking about the non-updated version Enviro 200 MMC here. I think that both these buses are used by a lot of people, and that's not a bad sign. Both buses have similar interiors and exteriors, both looking very modern, and they're nice buses overall. Together they get a 7 out of 10. Down to the top 10 now, and 9th place is the new Routemaster. I will never stop promoting this bus. With its many types able to buy after purchase, it's a great bus. The glass staircase are obviously cool, and many other nice features as well. 7 out of 10 for the new Routemaster. In 8th place is the Millennium, a nice long single decker bus that will be great for you if you need a single decker bus, but have a lot of passengers to collect. I frequently advertise this bus as it's a new pick for me personally, and I like constantly finding buses that I've never driven before. A well deserved 7 out of 10 for this interesting bus. 7th place brings us the Streetlight. It is surprisingly cheap, not able to get when starting the game, but only 3,000 points from Croydon. And this is a good bus? Yes. It has some nice features, and it's probably one of the most underrated buses on the game. 8 out of 10 for the Streetlight. 6th place, and before we get to the all-important top 5, let me tell you about this bus. I forgot out this bus on my latest video, and people got quite angry with me. And to be honest, I completely forgot about it. It's the Enviro 400. The bus itself has a lot of variations when it came out in version 1.3, and all of them look really cool. I'm very sorry for forgetting it, as it was a big mistake for such a great bus. The Enviro 400 gets an 8 out of 10. The top 5. Kicking us off with the top 5 is the Routemaster. No, not that one. Not that one either. This one. The classic. I have had some great reviews back from people who have bought this bus when I've recommended it. And it is one of the buses with the greatest experience from the rest, and it's very different. I feel like this has to be a step up from everyone else. 9 out of 10. In 4th is the Enviro 300, and it's another Game Pass bus. I personally don't like Game Passes, as you might have seen, but if you believe that this bus is worth the money, then it's up to you, and you wouldn't have a bad argument on your hands. I do really like this bus, and wouldn't it be great if it was a free bus? Well, for now it's a 7. With the bronze medal, it's a Citaro. It's a very expensive, is my first point. It's only in the go away depot, and it's 7,500 points, making it the second most expensive bus in the game. But I do reckon it's worth the price, and I wish I would stop spending my credits on different buses just so I could buy this one. 9 out of 10. Now, the top 2 buses I would recommend that you save up your points for in 2024 when playing the game. In 2nd place is the Enviro 400 Future Spec. It's a great bus to buy, and I think you'll look great driving this bus around the streets of Croydon. There is one tiny thing that I think could be fixed in this bus to make it absolutely amazing, top place on my list, and that is the LED screens. It just isn't coded as well as it is in real life, and it is one of the main features of buying this bus. Despite this, it's still there and it looks great. It's a 9 out of 10. And finally, in 1st place is the Gemini. I really like this bus. It's a 10 out of 10 for sure, but why? Well, it has a lovely interior and exterior. All of it looks great in the atmosphere. And in the Croydon coach garage, it's only 3,000 points. Quite cheap for the quality of bus that you're getting for buying this. And that is 24 buses that I hope you will consider getting in the new year. If you are a fan of the channel and would like to get some access to many perks like chatting in live streams, getting videos earlier and video sneak peeks, then you can press the join button below this video. However, if you can't afford this, then why not subscribe instead by pressing that button below. Make sure to let me know down below in the comments which bus you will buy in the coming year from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.